Here's how the Packers can improve next season and actually make a Super Bowl run. Gave Matt LaFleur an extension, contrary to a lot of what the fans wanted. But if you think about it, even though I've expressed my displeasure for LaFleur, especially in big games, was there a better coach on the market? You actually have to consider that. Would Kubiak have been better from the Seahawks? We haven't seen him be a head coach yet. Would, I don't know, Daboll have been better? No, probably not, right? Like, would Adunsky, the Jaguars OC, have been better? Probably not. LaFleur is still good at getting you the winnable games in the regular season. He also dealt with a lot of injuries. I don't think it was entirely his fault. Like Tucker Kraft was playing like the best tight end in football. He gets hurt. Micah Parsons gets hurt, your best player. He has no secondary. Their corners were atrocious all year. By the way, if you look at the composite quarterback rankings, Love finishes the second best quarterback in football according to those rankings. They have a good base with Jordan Love, some young receivers on rookie contracts, Zach Tom, who they just extended. Micah Parsons, obviously, the picks are not going to be as substantial because they gave up picks for Micah Parsons. I think bringing back Rasheed Walker is definitely a must at this point. Since he's a free agent, I think they can get him relatively cheap. They can retain him for. Josh Jacobs is another wild card because Josh Jacobs looked like he lost a step. What do they do with him? Could they draft a running back? That's a possibility that I think they'd have to consider. But they're solid at quarterback. They're solid at edge rusher when Micah plays, assuming he comes back healthy. Their tight end's elite when he comes back healthy. But there's going to be a lot of ifs next season. It might take a year. Next year might be like a transition year for the Packers. And I know Packers fans don't want to hear that. But I think next year, if Tucker doesn't get back right away, if Micah doesn't get back right away, and you're starting off the season 2-5 or 2-6, it might be a good time to think about, in the super draft of 27, possibly think about who you can get in that draft and coming back for a big Super Bowl run in 2027. Because next year's going to be difficult. I mean, the Vikings are only going to get better. The Bears just had a really good year, and the Lions have the easiest schedule in football, right? I also think another guy that would fit their system, they have a lot of receivers that can separate, but Jawan Jennings is an elite blocker. I think he would fit in perfectly, and I think they could get him for the price they want. But let's be real, they're going to have to sign and draft corners, and they won't have a pick until the end of round 2. Jamal Dean's going to be expensive, but do they go out and get a guy like that? Really, I think the main thing they need with that 52nd overall pick is either Dylan Thieneman, really a safety that's great in coverage, or Keontae Scott from Miami, or D'Angelo Ponte. There should be no other position group looked at for the Packers with their 52nd overall pick besides corner. They have one of the worst secondaries in the league. They need to look at corner and safety. That's it. In the entire draft, honestly. The rest of their roster is good enough to compete. It's just going to be about getting healthy. What do you guys think, Packers fans? Do you think next year is going to be tough? Do you think it's going to be a down year? Or do you think you have enough pieces if Parsons and Tucker Kraft gets healthy and they draft a couple of good corners and good safeties that they're able to compete next year? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to follow me for more NFL content like this.